This is the podcast overview for Module 8 in Week 4. This is the second module in Week 4 that you'll be covering, and it goes over Chapter 9, Using Health Services. So this is your to-do list for this module. Chapter 9 objectives are here. If you click here, you'll get the podcast overview of all these objectives. Basically, in this chapter, we're looking at how Americans use healthcare. What is the state of healthcare today? What types of health behaviors do we see people partaking in? What types of services are offered to people? What do they understand about their health care? And we spend a little bit of time on the physician-patient relationship, how healthcare providers and their patients communicate with one another, what that means, what are the implications of that relationship, as well as patient adherence, i.e. listening to your doctor and what that entails. Here are the lecture slides that go along with the chapter. There is a video for this chapter as well, and the video covers alternative medicine. Now, there is a section in the chapter that talks about the various forms of alternative or complementary medicine, so it goes nicely with this video, but the video is a little more in depth. It covers more than the book does, so this is really great information to help supplement that which you're reading in the textbook. So you can click here for the video, and then here is the worksheet of questions that goes along with it, and you can submit it here to the assignment link. Your Module 8 discussion goes along with Chapter 9 of the Longevity Project, and it has to do with marriage. How happy is your marriage is the assessment. Now, I'm guessing most of you are not married. Maybe a couple of you are. I do get some continuing ed students who are not, in the typical college ages that might be married. So if that's you, awesome. And if you're married, you can go ahead and fill this out according to yourself. But if you're not married, use a parent or a relative. Have them fill out the assessment and score them for this section. Don't use your dating relationship because, as I wrote here, as much as you'd like to think, it's not the same as marriage and should never be put on par with it. Dating is very, very different from marriage. Although you're doing some of the similar daily things, the commitment level is completely different. Commitment could be different, etc. So I'd rather you use a married couple and score them according to the instructions, interpret the score, and then talk about that. And then you're going to look at the termites. So with the questions below, you're going to say, what about being married promotes health? What was found with the term and data set that made marriage a health promotive factor? And what is the gender difference in marriage and longevity? Do men and women both live as long and as healthy if they're married? There were some differences there. It also talks about different subgroups. So you're going to describe differences between the remarried group, so those termites who divorced or widowed and then got remarried. The steadily married group, those who had been married the whole time, uninterrupted. The steadily single group, those who never got married. And then the divorced group, who didn't remarry. Which men and women lived the longest, and use some examples from the termites to help you explain the findings there. And then lastly, how does personality factor into marriage, divorce, and longevity? So again, we're exploring some of those links between personality factors and how they affect something like marriage or divorce, and then how that then relates to one's longevity. And again, you'll have some great examples to tie in from the termites. So that completes module number 8 for week 4.